Are you actually moving closer to immortality, or are you unknowingly standing entirely still? While perfect obedience is the standard for every believer, a spiritual infant and a mature father begin at the exact same requirement, making absolute compliance merely the starting line. But staying in the right place is not the same as reaching the destination, and obedience alone does not account for the distance you have yet to travel. This is why the Apostle Paul spoke of a singular, driving ambition in Philippians chapter 3. I want to know Christ and the power of his resurrection, and the fellowship of sharing in his sufferings, becoming like him in his death, and so somehow to attain to the resurrection from the dead. If you are not actively pressing toward that same mark, you leave yourself entirely exposed to a spiritual deception that grows more sophisticated every single day. When that external pressure mounts, an infant-level faith will inevitably collapse without the stamina required to endure. It is a stark reality warned of in Proverbs 24:10. If you falter in times of trouble, how small is your strength? Surviving these escalating pressures requires progressing through 4 distinct stages of spiritual growth: the baby, the little child, the young man, and the father. Moving through these levels is not a pursuit of status, but the key to a spiritual capacity that most believers never realize. At the highest levels, this growth manifests as the sharp clarity described in Hebrews 5:14. But solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil. This entire ascent is fueled by a singular, life-giving source that must sustain the believer through every stage of the journey: the water of the Word. These 4 stages form a precise divine map known as the Maturity Index, a critical framework found within our study on the resurrection of the dead, Part 2. The entire journey is guided by a singular compass, the literal, physical hope of salvation and immortality. It is the exact expectation Paul describes in Romans chapter 8. We eagerly await our adoption as sons, the redemption of our bodies. For in this hope we were saved. So on this vital map of survival, where exactly do you stand today? And what is your very next step? Access the full teaching of the Maturity Index to evaluate your personal spiritual growth and discover how to press steadily toward the resurrection of the dead.